So, hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly, where we talk all about cloud news, community callouts, a little bit about what I've been up to this week from my personal side of things, and just have a little bit of fun with cloud news. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz. Please do subscribe to my channel if you can. It really does help. Click that bell notification so you get notified next time I go live with some more content. But for now, let's just get back to it. So yeah, hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in again. It is Friday afternoon here in the UK, GMT. Hope you've had a great week in work or holiday, whatever you've been up to this week. Hope you've had a great week. It's the weekend. It's approaching up on us again. I've named this week's episode Back to It because it just seems like we have just had to get back to it. I think it's fair to say the first week back in the new year is always a little bit of a shock for me personally, so I'm sure there's not many people too differently. I always tend to take that nice little break over Christmas if I can, and then you get back to it, and wow, your email box has exploded over the festive period. But anyway, usual format again this week. Community callouts. We'll jump on a little bit about what's been going on in the Welsh Azure Use Group. We had our meetup this week, which was cool. We'll talk a little bit about what I've been up to this week as well on various bits and pieces. Got some interesting things coming up. And, of course, the obligatory Azure news and updates that I will at some point get it onto a multi-cloud story, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, it's Friday, 21st of January, by the way, in case you didn't realise. Let's jump on over. Let's do our community call-out. Okie doke. So we're going to start off this week with a call out for Knots IoT. They had Sander van der Velde on only yesterday. No, day before yesterday. It's Wednesday because this clashed with the Welsh Azure user group that I was on. Always love Knots IoT sessions, arranged, of course, by Pete Gallagher. Sander, superb MVP, fantastic IoT developer, solutions architect in the community. And this month's session was all about LoRaWAN, so that low-powered radio wave communication for devices over long distances. I'm going to watch this back, but I've seen some of the slides from it, and it's always great watching what Sander gets up to be honest, from my point of view. I love everything he gets up to. It's IoT, isn't it? I mean, how can you not love IoT stuff? It's cool, it's fun, it's interesting, it gets you hands-on. You can learn so many cool things. It's you just got to get involved. So yeah, that's my first call out. I mean, the other thing on that point is one of the sessions, or one of the images that was captured and retweeted was this wireless protocols and the comparison between things like operating frequency, the range of that, the kind of throughputs you could expect, which was quite apt actually, because this week I got embroiled in a chat around 5G, obviously with my day job, and sort of private 5G cells across manufacturing shop floors or local office buildings. And, I could see how this chart could be extended now to encompass those kinds of technologies, which is cool because at the end of the day, IoT devices need to communicate over some form of a network. So whether it's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 5G, 4G, LoRaWAN, whatever it might be, there's so many different communications protocols and different nuances in when you would use one over another. Some of which are obvious, others are maybe not so obvious. I just thought it was a nice little chart to show there, whether you're interested in radio frequencies or not. I happen to have been involved in these a little bit in my past, which I've always found cool. I've not really, come across a chart or bothered reading a chart for quite a while, actually. So I just thought it was cool anyway. It's up there. Have a little look-see. Hopefully you can piece that together with the jigsaw of things that we can do with tech. Moving on, just spotted this from the Bicep Lang Twitter account. So they're hosting a community call next Thursday, which is a week yesterday, if you're watching this live. So the 27th of January, 9 a.m. PST, which is, I think, around about 5 p.m. Don't quote me, 6 p.m. GMT. So they're going to be going through the Bicep code base. So go and join them if you want to learn more. So if you head on over to aka.ms/ARM News, ARM News, you can get signed up, and I'm hiccuping. Okay, yeah, so that's a cool one. If you are interested in infrastructure code, I can't speak, infrastructure as code, and obviously bicep language. So go and check that out. Moving on, yes, Marcel, caught up with Marcel this week as well, and he's doing some cool things, got some cool blog articles, and we're fortunate to have secured Marcel to come and give a talk at the next Welsh Azure user group in February as well. More about that in a second. But yeah, Marcel has got he's got a great blog. Go and check it out. This week he released, well, actually, this is from back last year, but he retweeted this around using restore, what? That's not even a word. Installing replace tokens. So replace tokens, an extension that you can use in Visual Studio Code to really update dynamically your Terraform code on the fly using that facility. Go and check that out. Have a little read. Go and follow Marcel on Twitter. He is at PWD9000. And yeah, he's doing some cool stuff. So we'll catch up with Marcel, like I say, at the next Welsh Azure user group session. Okay, moving on. Yes, to be honest with you, this is something that I follow quite religiously, actually. It comes out quite often. Jay has got effectively a community newsletter that he pulls all the top blog articles around the DevOps space from the previous few weeks, and he bundles them all into a nice little newsletter for us to really kind of pick out those really helpful, useful blog articles if you're in that space, DevOps. And it's a really cool thing that you can sign up to. So if you want to go and follow Jay, so Jay Destro on Twitter, actually, if I click on him, you can see that you can start reading his blog. It's at the top of his Twitter account here. If you start reading, type in your email address and get subscribed to that. I mean, it's either that or I know Jay does regularly tweet these out as well. So it's just pretty cool. So, I mean, you know, if we were to look at this one, I mean, I've been featured, surprisingly, a couple of times in this particular newsletter over the last year or two. But you can see, you know, he's calling out community events and updates, which is fantastic. You know, obviously got Welsh Azure user group there at the top of the tree. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, there's just some awesome community events and updates that he's linking to. And of course, all of the, you know, what is there? There's about 8 or 9 different blog articles from fantastic people right across the community. Just a really cool newsletter. If you are in that space and you're looking to learn more, go and subscribe, sign up to it, have a read. Jay's doing a fantastic job of pulling a lot of this content and curating it together to make it a little bit easier for us to kind of keep on top of everything that's going on at the moment. So, yeah, big shout out. Thanks for that, Jay. Superb. And moving on. So, yes. So, my friends in the community, Charlie and Chris, have set up a Microsoft Cloud Security user group. So, it's MSCSUG. So, yeah, is that? Can I pronounce that? No, I can't. No, I can't. Microsoft Cloud Security user group. Go and give them a follow. They're 2 guys in the community that have been doing some great work, really great supporters of everybody else in the community as well. They're setting up their user group, and they got their first session on the 24th of Feb. So we've got about a month to go. It would be cool if we could get their follower count up. It would be cool if we can get more people over to their meetup page. Well, I'll click on that now. Meetup page. Go and get registered for the event and join in. You know, like I say, this is a brand new user group now, and they are looking for all the support and help that they can get. So let's go and give it to them. So yes, so just to repeat, that is MSCSUG. MSCSUG. I'm going to have a chat. There's got to be some kind of a way to remember MSCSUG. I said it enough times now. Go and follow it and click the. I'm going to click the little notification. Look at that. Oh no, I did have them on. See, there we are. Make sure you have your notifications on. You can get notified when they have more tweets, because everybody loves a notification from a tweet, don't they? Okay, so yes, go and sign up. Go and follow the guys there. Fantastic efforts. Yes, Jeff Woolsey. Right, okay. So as you may or may not know, this year I'm making it my mission to delve a little bit deeper than I do into hybrid technologies, namely the Azure Stack range of products, including Hub Edge, and of course HCI. I noticed this, only this morning actually. Jeff has retweeted it's in beta. So there's a sizer tool in beta. Oh, you've got to sign in. I know he did send out some images as well. I think there are here. So there's a blog, actually. There we go. Let's go and have a look at the blog article. So there's a new sizing tool. It's in preview. It came out this last week or the week before, whenever it was. Really about how we can size up. If you are interested in using HCI for whatever it may be, your on-premises resources, some kind of replacement to your hypervisor, just a hyper-converged infrastructure technology. If you are looking in that space and you're interested in Azure Stack HCI, there's this sizing tool, which is basically in beta at the moment, where you can just bang in all your details, what your requirements are, what your applications are that are running on it, and your networking requirements, all of that good stuff. And it just spits out basically. So that's your project, what workloads you've got running on there, and the results. There we go. So you can see that based on whatever it is that you're putting in at the front end, it's a calculator at the end of the day. But it's just nice to see that you can use it, and you can maybe use it to start present to your stakeholders for your project, or customers if you're working with customers. It gives you a bit of a breakdown on what you're actually going to need day one, what you're planning for any kind of future growth, and what is there from a redundancy perspective as well. So anyway, just thought I'd call that out. It's on the tech community blogs for Azure Stack blog. On the Azure Stack blog, I should say. I can't speak. I don't know what it is. I can never speak properly on a Friday morning, so I probably should move this to some time where I can speak properly. So thanks for that, Jeff. Go and check that out if you're interested, or you're doing anything with Azure Stack, particularly HCI. Okay, moving on. So Cloud Management Community have got their next event with M. Melkerson. So Matthias is coming on, and he is going to go and do a talk on the 25th of January, 7 p.m. GMT. So he's going to be doing a talk on building apps with MEM, so Microsoft Endpoint Manager. They're always great sessions. So if you're not following the Cloud Management Community, it's _CM community, and they're going to be giving away an exam voucher. So if you're interested, go and stick that date in your diary, go and follow the team, and obviously look forward to that one on the 25th in a few days' time. Yes, it was great to see the Agile Engineering podcast is back. So my friend across the community, Mr. Liam Gallagher, is a co-organizer of this podcast, or he speaks on the podcast. And they've got Kelsey Hightower on, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Really, cool on that one. I've not listened yet. Going to listen to this one. So the topic or the theme is, can DevSecOps be damaging? So cool topic. And, I'm sure there's going to be some really insightful conversations on that podcast. So if you're interested in that and you don't know about the Agile Engineering podcast, then go and follow them on Twitter, Agile Eng Podcast. And obviously head on over to your podcast provider of choice and give the Agile Engineering a quick search. Yes, Pete Gallagher, he's retweeted, or he's forwarded out. I always, it's dangerous every time I see a tweet from Pete, to be honest, because it normally means I'm going to be buying something, or I'm going to be making a mess of my office for a good few days whilst I follow a project that he's tweeted out. So I thought this was cool. It's off the all 3DP website, which if you are, I don't want to subscribe. Honestly, I don't want to subscribe. If you are into your 3D printing and things like that, it's a cool website to give you some great ideas on projects. And he's just retweeted this one now that came out by Naomi K. Raspberry Pi robot, 10 awesome projects and kits. So we've got the robots. I mean, you flick down through this now and you can see we've got Buggy, a little car. There's another little car. Hexapod, which is cool. It's like, it's building your own drone from like what looks like little bits of balsa wood and a little Raspberry Pi and some, sort of code on there. It kind of gives you difficulty levels, who it was designed by, what components you can use, that sort of stuff. And chess playing robot, E1 Home. I don't know what that is. It's like a little robot. Anyway, Free Nose Dog, it's like these are, I mean, clearly these are servos on for dogs' feet, which is cool. I'm guessing, is that a little camera? It looks like camera, like a little Pi camera of some variety. But anyhow, I mean, it is. You can see the ribbon cable there. But I mean, it's just great. Lego shooter. Look at that. Look at that. Built out of Lego, shooting balls. Oh, that'll make my wife happy. RFID music. I mean, the point is, look at that monster ball with a control. The point is, you can see now I'm getting hung up onto it, and I didn't realise I'm actually recording an episode of Jonnychipz Weekly here. I'm just reading my website going, wow, I want to make that. I want to make that. I mean, that's the point. Get involved. Can't tell you how much fun it is. It's good crack. You learn lots doing these kinds of little projects as well. So, yeah, thanks, Pete. You give me more stuff to do. No, I mean that. It's great. Okay, moving on. Okay, we've got our first Cloud Community Live event. This next week, 26th of January, as it says, 7 o'clock GMT. RSVP is now open. If you head on over to cloudcommunity.live, you can get registered for the event. I'm going to click on the link. And you can see that it's free entry. We've got some cool swag. So Elgato has sponsored us some prizes. So we've got an Elgato gift box, which as a first prize if you win the quiz. A Stream Deck Mini. You've got this nice Faber-Castell pen and a Moleskine notepad. And a nice coffee cup. I think it's coffee cup. Yeah, it's a coffee mug. That comes in this nice presentation box. I should be doing my that way, isn't it? Look what we've got. We've got a second place prize of some Sennheiser headphones, which are cool. They look really cool. They're quite, well, very decent headphones. So nice prize there. And then a bit of a swag bag for third place. So an Azure rucksack, hoodie, water bottle, probably throw some stickers in there as well, no doubt. So RSVP, look, you can see we've already got 67 people signed up to come and do it. It's just a quiz. We thought we'd set this up as a networking event, a quiz, something fun. It's going to be on Teams, so we're very aware that it might be difficult for communication, especially if we've got 60 people on a call. But we'll see how it goes. It's meant to be nothing too serious, just a bit of fun, a quiz, some prizes, sponsored by fantastic people like Elgato, Sennheiser, Microsoft. Jump in, have a bit of fun. So yeah, if you can join us, that would be cool. Like I say, head on over to cloudcommunity.live and you'll see this event. Just go on RSVP and you'll get sent the link to the event. Okay, moving on. So IoT news. If you are interested in IoT news, then Maria Anastasia is always releasing her blog article. So she's done a January 2022, which is cool. There's some great information in there. If again, it's just that focused area of IoT. If you're looking to find a centrally curated resource of what's been going on across the community and Azure news and updates, things like that, head on over to Maria Anastasia's blog, thinkaboutit.com. And she's curated lots of bits and pieces that have been going on for the month. So, yeah, huge thanks for that, Maria Anastasia. So, there we go. Let's head on back over. So, yes, they were our community call-outs this week. Thanks so much for everybody. I appreciate I don't call out, a fraction of what's been going on in the community. I just call out the bits that kind of catch my eye on a week and kind of I retweet. And I just review that on my show each week. So, more than happy to chat to anybody about other bits and pieces they got going on. But it's that thing, isn't it? I guess we've all got so little time. Once you start getting involved with family life, work life, and then your hobby and community and things outside of work, it's surprising how little time we actually have. So anyhow, that was our community call-outs for this week. Let's head on back over to my desktop and we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on in the Welsh Azure user group this week. Well, I say this week, I mean this month. So, yes, it was our monthly talk this week, actually. So it was the 19th of Jan. It was fantastic, to be honest. You can see that I've got the two screenshots of our two speakers. We had Aidan Finn on to talk to us about introducing Azure Image Builder, which was absolutely fantastic. Really good talk, really practical, really interested. Especially if you are using AVD and you're looking to build out those base images, multiple images, maybe you need multiple images across multiple host pools, whatever it might be. Aidan gave us a really good way of using Azure Image Builder, which, I mean, fundamentally is based on HashiCorp Packer, the free utility to do all of this in an automated fashion. But it's an introduction to it. So if you're interested in that, go and check it out. I'll give you some links in a second, but it's all on the YouTube channel in the Welsh Azure User Group playlist. And then the second talk we had, equally as fascinating talk, was from Alpa Budapati. She came on to talk to us around Azure SQL Server and how we can kind of deploy, using DACPack files, how we can deploy a SQL Server into Azure using DevOps. So putting that into a CI/CD pipeline, if you've got that configuration, that requirement. She talked us through it, really simple, easy to kind of get your head around use of how you do that and store credentials and things like that. So brilliant talks. Both guest speakers were fascinating and fantastic, as all the guests are that always come on. I mean, if you're going to step up and you're going to give a talk on something that you're aware of, I mean, you're fantastic. So goes without saying that we've had another 2 fantastic speakers on the Welsh Shore User Group. Go and check them out. Like I say, they're all in the playlist below. So Welsh Shore User Group playlist. There's the latest episode. It's obviously 2 hours long. I've bookmarked the times for each talk. If you want to go and watch one and the other, go and do that. Jump on in and take a look at that. So yeah, huge thanks to the speakers for this week. And on to next month's talk. So we've already scheduled next month. It will be on the 16th of February 2022, 6:30 p.m. GMT. We've got the fantastic Heiko Bren on, and he's coming on to talk about how do we get rid of mundane management tasks that we might have to do in Azure using PowerShells. He's got 5 easy steps to follow. And then, of course, we've got Marcel coming on to talk about how we can automate decommissioning resources out of Azure using, and give that task some tracking as well. So 2 management sort of talks that we've got going on in February. So if you are in that space, if you're an Azure admin, come along, sign up, go and watch these talks because they're bound to be fascinating and give you some great hints and tips. Head on over to the Meetup event page if you can, meetup.com, give us a search, and there you'll see we've already got 32 people signed up, which is cool. Let's see if we can get that. I'm looking to try and push this. If you can help us spread the word of the Welsh Azure User Group, please do. Let the people in your businesses know about it. Put it up on your bulletin boards for me if you can in your own workplaces. I know events like this aren't for everybody, and I know we've had 2 years of staring at screens. But look, there are people out there that absolutely would love this information. So if that's not you, I completely respect that and understand. But please, can I ask if everybody can help spread the word? Because, there are people out there looking for this content and would actively get involved. So I'm really trying to push as hard as I can to kind of get those people together to build a community. And it would be really appreciated. So there we go. Thanks, everybody, if you're going to do that for me. I'm going to head on back over to my big face. And there we go. So Welsh Shore User Group, community callouts, great stuff so far. I think what we will do now is we'll talk a bit about what I've been up to and what I've got coming up. Tell you, I'm just going to rearrange. I'm going to rearrange my bits and pieces on here. Yeah, there we go. Let's go over to Jonnychipz on the side. So first things first. I've taken January off. You would have seen it's Friday. We don't have an in conversation without this evening, and we haven't had one in January. I've decided that January I'm taking I'm taking time off. I'm trying to slow down a little bit because like I say, we've gone back to it. We're back to it. I've got 3 young kids. Their sports activities are back up and running. I'm darting around the country as dad's taxi. I wish I had more time. I genuinely wish I had all the time in the world to do this because I love doing these episodes. But anyway, I've taken January off. Already had a chat, recorded my first episode for 2022. That'll be coming out the first Friday in February. So 2 weeks today, the 4th of Feb. And I've got 3 or 4 other speakers lined up. Well, actually 4 or 5, 6 maybe. Speakers lined up to record future episodes. I'm going to think about staggering these now, maybe every 2 weeks rather than every week, because I've got another idea for another episode that I want to record that I'm going to work on and see if I can get that working. If you do want to be a guest on In Conversation With, head on over to my blog, jonnychipz.com, and click on the In Conversation With tab there, and you'll see I've got a call for speakers. So click on that, put in your details, and to be honest, I haven't checked this, so people may have already done that, but go and do that, or DM me on Twitter. But you can see that I've got all my In Conversation With all lined up there on my blog. Again, they're also available on my YouTube channel. There's some fantastic talks. I mean, granted, I don't necessarily tag the images and the thumbnails with what the talk's about, which, okay, maybe a little bad, but at the end of the day, it's all there in the context of this blog post. I describe what we talk about and what the episode is about. If you want to go and rewatch some of those episodes, or you want to be a guest, hit me up, because I'm looking for guests. Equally, the other thing that I'm looking at is really building out like a school by episode where it's not necessarily about the person in conversation with, it's very much about the person behind the tech. This other view will be about the tech and the person, but mainly about the tech. So if you're interested in coming on and doing an episode with me, teaching me something, doesn't have to be anything, sort of groundbreaking or huge. It's, 20, 30-minute video just to run through a couple of slides, maybe a quick demo, maybe talk about something specifically. That would be cool. Hit me up. I'm looking for people that are willing to do that. So other things I've been up to this week are I got involved with the conversation about the examination renewals. Now, in fairness, over the years, I've probably done, I want to say about 15 Microsoft exams covering Azure and 365. And of course, now we're on this renewal cycle. What I'm finding is it's almost every month I'm getting a renewal or two, which is cool because this was for the Azure Solutions Expert, the Architect Expert exam. Now, of course, it's my day job. I'm dealing with the technologies covered in this expert exam on a pretty regular, frequent basis. So the information is, well, hopefully relatively fresh up there. But even so, the renewal exam, it picks out some of those areas that you think, okay, I've not done much with that lately. So it kind of gets you into this habit of reaching out to Microsoft Docs, wherever it might be, just to have a quick read, bit of a refresher, bit of an update. And what is it, about 26 questions? And I think it probably took me about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to run through, get the answers. I didn't get full marks. I think I got about 70-odd percent, 80% maybe, mainly probably because I wasn't reading the questions properly or thought I knew the answer and maybe I didn't. But, it's open book and you can resit if you fail it as well. So it's a really great scheme to kind of help people not have to, because examinations, they can be a right pain in the backside at times. I don't know about you. I don't like examinations. Just the whole rigmarole of studying and swatting and sitting down and, trying to recall. It's not really a real world scenario, if you ask me. If they were open book, great. But I guess, it might, I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it? But anyway, the renewals were great. Did another one this month. So if you are in the same position as me, reach out. Happy to chat with people about it and thoughts and feelings and things like that. But that was cool. So renew for another year. I was on Smart Cherry's YouTube channel as well, which was cool. So Sai is over in India. Hit me up, wanted to have a chat with me, and to be honest, it's quite. He asked some quite deep questions at times, so it's quite an interesting conversation. If you're interested, go and give that a little watch. Okay, other things this week. It's 12:30 now. I'm guessing it's been announced. If it hasn't, I'm announcing it. Teamed up with a couple of colleagues of mine, James Storr and Dan Stradlin, who you may know across the community already. We have put together this Silver Linings Runbook podcast where, it's a bit of fun for us at the end of the day, where we're three middle-aged men in tech. We know the situation. We talk a bit about diversity and inclusion and things like that on the first episode. But, we're looking to use this podcast. Well, listen to the episode. We've recorded our first episodes. It's up there on anchor.com, anchor.fm, Silver Linings Runbook. We've got episode number 1, an introduction. So we do a bit of an introduction, talk about what we're looking to achieve with the podcast. So super fun. Never really done a podcast like this. Obviously, I've done the YouTube stuff with my In Conversation With and Jonnychipz Weekly, but the podcast is a slightly different take on imparting information. So I've not done one before, so it's cool to get involved. If you're interested, please do go and subscribe. It'd be cool to get a few followers. We are on Twitter, actually, as well. SL Runbook, I think it is. Oh, no, SLR Podcast on Twitter. So, at SLR Podcast. So, anyway, that's been me this week. So there we go. Right, leaves me with the last section of the show, which is always the fun section, I think is probably fair to say, and it means that I need to just flick over and move to my different button. I know I'm up at the 30 minutes mark already, and I don't know why I ramble on so much, but I mean, hopefully you get it. Enjoy doing these shows, so let's finish off the show with the Azure news and updates. And hello everybody and welcome to this week's Azure News and Updates. I'm John Lunn and here are your Azure updates for this week. Okay, so yes, we've had a lot of updates this week. A lot of AKS updates, actually, the Azure Kubernetes service. So we'll get to that. We'll get through them. I'm going to read them off. But like I say, this is my... I may have seen some of these updates come out through the week, but this is generally my first proper read through what's going on. So we're kind of learning together to a certain extent. So let's get on with it then. So first up, we've got generally available. So Azure IoT Edge tools for Visual Studio Extension now supports Azure Visual Studio 2022. Cool. I did see a few people tweeting out about this, which was cool, that you can kind of bring these tools into Visual Studio 2022 if you are on that full fat client. GA Azure database for Postgres SQL hyperscale is in new regions, and if we look, it's in the East Asia and Central India regions. Cool. Azure database for Postgres SQL flexible server is in 2 new regions. We've got China East 2 and China North 2. We have got new certifications for the same then. So we've got, you can now use Azure Database for Postgres SQL for workloads that require your database to be compliant with the following certifications. So I'll scroll up a little bit there so you can see. So ARPA in Australia, we've got the DPP, so that's the Digital Production Partnership here in the UK. The FCA and PRA in the UK. Then you've got a bunch of US bits and pieces and Canada and some certifications for Singapore as well. So, FERPA, FF, IEC, GLB. They're loads of acronyms, basically, and they mean things. So if you do need to be certified against these industry or standards effectively, then and use Azure Postgres SQL database, then that's good news. There we go. So here we go. We've got a lot of Kubernetes bits and pieces now coming up. So public preview, version alias is supported in AKS. Now that's in public preview. If you need to use that, different version of Kubernetes instead of the latest, then you can use that as an alias. We've got generally available Azure Kubernetes support for upgrade events. So as part of the application cluster lifecycle, you can upgrade to the latest available version of Kubernetes and take advantage of new features. These new features enable you to more easily view the upgrade status in the Azure portal or via the CLI. Cool. Generally available containered support for Windows in AKS. So yeah, that runtime that's currently used in AKS enhances pod creation speed as well as stability. So it now supports the containered for Windows Server containers, and it's available for Kubernetes version 1.2 and higher. To be honest, Kubernetes, as much as I know conceptually what it is, and I play with it, I've done OpenHack, I've set it up, I've spun some stuff up. It's one of those fascinating areas, and like I say, it's on my to-do list, and it's been on my to-do list for such a long time. such great technology, when you find that application for it. Yeah, it's definitely something I need to dig into a bit more. So general availability, FIPS-enabled node pool in Azure Kubernetes. So, so that's security requirement, that FIPS standard. So AKS now allows you to create Linux-based node pools with FIPS 142 enabled, if that's what you need. So there's more information there. Good to know if you are using Kubernetes and you need to enable FIPS. Ultra disks are supported on AKS now. That is GA. We've got new and improved alert rule creation experience. Okay, so breaking the flow into smaller logical steps, making it easier to follow. There's support for resource-centric log alerts from Azure Monitor. Greater than alerts, yeah, is that what I can never remember which crocodile was which. Greater than, less, I don't know. So simplify the content to help complete the flow more easily. So yeah, okay. So then there's when we're creating new alert rules, there's a new and improved experience. I've not seen it yet. I mean, there's a couple of links there. Might go and have a little look, see what that experience is like. I remember the current or the old experience. I'll go and check that out. GA 1 minute frequency log alerts. So log alerts are one of the alert types that are supported in Azure Alerts. Log alerts enable you to use log analytics query to evaluate resources. They're set at a frequency and fire an alert based on the results. So they can trigger one or more actions or using those action groups. So they can now be set with a 1 minute frequency. The alert query will be evaluated every minute to check the condition, reducing the overall time to fire a log alert. Okay, cool. Public preview. Create multiple data export rules to the same event hub namespace. Cool. Azure Machine Learning announcement. So January 2022 announcement on Azure Machine Learning. We've got multiple private endpoint supports, which will enable you to set up a common scenario for more complex virtual networks. We're using private endpoint, of course. For example, you can establish private endpoint integration between a private link-enabled workspace and other Azure services, such as Synapse or Data Factory, to give that private route for traffic effectively. Also, with a storage account IP firewall support by Azure Machine Learning, you also have flexibility to let the public users use the data storage behind the virtual network without configuring the private link-enabled workspace. So there we go. There's some articles there, linked to articles that you can go and check that out if that's of interest to you. Azure SQL general availability updates for late January. We've got package storage redundancy change options for Azure SQL Managed Instance, and there's a link to that there. We've got scheduled query results API preview version 2021-0201 will be retired in 10 days' time, 31st of January. So if you are using that, then you might want to go and change it. Do they give some guidance on what you need to change it to? To the new API versions there. So the Microsoft Insights scheduled query rules resource type. So there we go. Hopefully you already know about that one if it's changing in that amount of time. Public preview support for managed identity in Azure Cache for Redis. Cool, that's good news. Azure Monitor log alerts, a new version. Okay, I think we touched upon them, I'm guessing, slightly earlier in a post. Good to see. And we've got some Azure DevOps updates. So there's a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of Azure DevOps updates there. So go and check that out. If you are using DevOps, I mean, just looking at pipelines, but we've got automatic retries. We've got consume inputs from another task in a decorator. We've got improvements to service connections usage history, a whole bunch of them. So go and check that out if you're interested or you are using Azure DevOps. And finally, public preview, managed certificate support for Azure API management, which is cool to see. If you are using APIM for any reason or you're thinking about using APIM, I mean, it's great now that we can actually use... as it says here, it enables customers to easily use and secure their custom domains, so using your own vanity domain effectively with a free certificate. Provision, manage, and automatically renewed by Azure API management. So customers can now effortlessly secure API management with an SSL certificate which is provisioned and managed by Azure API Management. This feature is available in all tiers of Azure API Management at no cost. Great announcement. I mean, that is in public preview, but that really is great. I mean, all of a sudden now we can spin up our own custom domains, hooking into Azure API Management, and we've got the SSL to cover that at no cost. So there we go. That has been the Azure News and Updates for this week. I've been John Lunn. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Okie dokie. So there we go. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week. Hope you've enjoyed the show this week. I certainly, as I say every week, I've enjoyed putting these together over the last year or so. Reach out, like, subscribe, click that bell notification. If you've got any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, reach out. I'm all ears. If you want to be a guest on any of the YouTube series that I'm running, please do reach out for me. To me, I'm looking for guests at the moment. So that's it. Until next week, I will see you then. Thanks, everybody, for watching. See you soon.